Opening. Have you ever noticed how much time and effort we spend trying to look beautiful on the outside? We buy new clothes, try different hairstyles, and invest in expensive skincare routines. And of course, there's nothing wrong with taking care of ourselves. But if we look closely, we'll see that true beauty, the kind that captures hearts and leaves a lasting impression, doesn't come from makeup or fancy outfits. It comes from something much deeper, the state of our mind and the peace of our heart. When the mind is calm, the face naturally softens. When the heart is at peace, the eyes begin to shine with kindness. And when we carry stillness within, our smile becomes a source of comfort for everyone we meet. Isn't it fascinating? Real beauty is not something you paint on, it's something that radiates from within. Think about the people you admire most. Maybe it's a beloved teacher, a wise elder, or even a close friend. Chances are, what draws you to them isn't their perfect appearance, but the sense of warmth, ease, and compassion they carry. Their presence feels light, almost like a safe space where you can simply breathe and be yourself. That's what I mean when I say, when the mind rests in peace, the face shines naturally. We live in a world that constantly tells us to chase after outer beauty. Social media shows us endless filters and edited images, as if we are never quite enough. But here's the truth: time will change our appearance no matter how hard we try to resist it. What stays, what even grows brighter with age, is the light of an inner calm spirit. Wrinkles can't dim it. Gray hair can't hide it. A peaceful heart only makes the face more radiant, more alive. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a child's face when they are truly at ease, maybe when they are asleep, or laughing without worry? That kind of natural beauty is effortless. And the good news is, we can return to that same state. Not by chasing trends, but by nurturing peace within ourselves. In my own life, I've noticed moments when I feel restless or burdened, my face shows it right away. The tension sits in my jaw, my eyes lose their sparkle, and no amount of skincare can cover that up. But when I sit in stillness, breathe deeply, and let go of worry, something shifts. My face feels lighter, my expression softens, and even people around me notice the change. It's almost like the inner calm spills over, painting the face with a natural glow. So, maybe the question we need to ask ourselves is not, how do I look to others, but rather, how peaceful is my mind right now? Because the more we cultivate peace within, the more our outer presence transforms, without us even trying. That is the kind of beauty that doesn't fade with time. That is the kind of beauty that speaks without words. And perhaps, this is the secret: true beauty is not a mask, but a mirror of the soul. When your soul rests in peace, the world sees it, feels it, and remembers it. The mind is the root of appearance. Let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, what does our face really say about us? Most of us think our appearance is defined by genetics, age, or the products we put on our skin. But if you look more deeply, you'll realize that the face is not just a surface, it's a mirror of the mind. When the heart is heavy with anger or weighed down by constant worry, it shows. The forehead tightens, the jaw stiffens, and the eyes lose their warmth. Even if we try to smile, it feels forced, almost brittle, like a mask that can crack at any moment. Have you ever noticed this in yourself? Maybe on a day when stress overwhelmed you, someone asked if you were okay, even though you hadn't said a word. That's because your face had already spoken for you. On the other hand, when the mind rests in peace, something magical happens. The face begins to soften. The lines that once carried tension transform into gentle expressions. The eyes sparkle with clarity, and the smile becomes effortless. It's like watching a lotus bloom in the early morning sun, pure, radiant, and untouched by the mud it grew from. This is why many wisdom traditions, especially in Buddhism, remind us that true beauty doesn't come from cosmetics or expensive treatments. Those things might enhance the surface, but they can't change the energy behind your expression. The root of how we appear to the world lies in our inner state. When the soil of the mind is rich with calmness and kindness, the flower of the face will naturally blossom. Think of someone you admire deeply, not for their looks, but for their presence. Perhaps it's a grandparent, a teacher, or even a stranger whose smile once lifted your spirits. What drew you to them wasn't their physical features, but the peace and warmth that radiated from within. That's the kind of presence that lingers long after the moment has passed. Science even supports this ancient truth. Studies in psychology show that chronic stress and negative emotions can alter facial muscles, skin tone, and even accelerate aging. Meanwhile, positive emotions like gratitude, compassion, and joy release hormones that relax the body and brighten the complexion. In other words, peace of mind literally shapes the face you present to the world. Personally, I've experienced this shift too. There were times in my life when I was restless, always chasing the next thing, and people often told me I looked tired, even when I had slept enough. But during the periods when I committed to mindfulness, slowing down, and letting go of unnecessary worries, people began asking if I had changed something about my appearance. I hadn't, it was simply the quiet glow of a calmer mind showing itself. So, here's the real question. If our mind is the root of our appearance, what are we planting inside it? Are we feeding it with anxiety, anger, and comparison? Or are we nurturing it with peace, gratitude, and compassion? Because whatever seed we water most will eventually blossom on our face. Remember this, beauty that comes from the mind does not fade with time. Wrinkles may appear, hair may turn gray, but a peaceful mind will always radiate a timeless glow. And that is a kind of beauty the world never forgets. Breathing into stillness. Have you ever noticed how often we forget to breathe? Of course, we breathe all the time, it's what keeps us alive. But I mean really breathe. Most of us spend our days rushing, caught in deadlines, conversations, screens, and worries, and our breathing becomes shallow, almost mechanical. Yet in that very breath lies the key to returning home to ourselves. A single conscious breath, slow, gentle, aware, can transform everything. When we pause and take a deep, mindful inhale, followed by a soft exhale, something inside us shifts. The storm of thoughts begins to settle. The restless beating of the heart slows down. It's as if we've pressed a reset button, giving our mind permission to rest in the present moment. This isn't just philosophy, it's something you can test right now. Take a moment. Close your eyes if you like. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold it lightly, and exhale with ease. Do this a few times. Notice how your shoulders drop, how your chest opens, how your mind feels a little clearer. That's the miracle of the breath. It anchors us to the here and now. In Buddhist teachings, the breath is often described as a bridge. It connects body and mind, inner world and outer world. When we lose ourselves in worry or regret, our breath becomes short and scattered. But the moment we bring awareness back to it, we reconnect with life itself. Because life is not in yesterday or tomorrow, it's right here, flowing with every inhale and exhale. Think of it this way, when a lake is stirred by wind, its surface ripples, making it impossible to see what's beneath. But when the wind calms, the water becomes still and clear, reflecting the sky like a mirror. Our mind is that lake. The breath is the gentle hand that calms the wind. With every mindful breath, we invite clarity, stillness, and peace. Science has caught up with this wisdom too. Research shows that mindful breathing lowers stress hormones, reduces blood pressure, and even softens facial tension. That's why people who practice deep, conscious breathing often appear more relaxed, more radiant, and more approachable. Their faces carry the mark of ease, not strain. I've seen this in my own life. On days when I'm caught up in stress, people sometimes ask, "Are you okay? You look tense." And they are right, I can feel it too. But when I take the time to pause, even just for a few minutes, and follow my breath, the change is noticeable. Friends tell me I look calmer, more present, even happier. Nothing on the outside has changed, just the way I breathe. So let me ask you, how often do you give yourself the gift of a conscious breath? Not just when things go wrong, but as a daily practice. Imagine how different your days would feel if, instead of reacting immediately to stress or anger, you paused, inhaled deeply, and let yourself settle before speaking or acting. That one breath could save you from unnecessary conflict, misunderstandings, or regret. When we breathe with awareness, peace is no longer an idea, it becomes a living experience. And when peace fills the mind, it shows on the face. The forehead smooths, the eyes soften, the smile returns naturally. Breathing with mindfulness isn't just about calming down, it's about embodying a presence that feels safe and radiant to others. So the next time you feel restless or scattered, remember this: peace is only one breath away. Letting go of anger. Have you ever caught a glimpse of yourself in the mirror while you were angry? The face flushes, the eyes narrow, the jaw tightens, and words often spill out sharper than knives. Anger doesn't just live inside us. It announces itself to the whole world through our expressions, our tone, even the energy we give off. People can sense it before we say a single word. And here's the thing: anger never really makes us look strong. It makes us look unsettled, even unsafe. Think about the last time someone shouted at you. Did their face inspire respect, or did it stir up fear and tension? Most likely, it was the latter. That's the power anger has. It distorts not only the way others see us, but also the way we see ourselves. But what happens when we let it go? Forgiveness and release soften everything. The same face that once looked fiery and intimidating can suddenly radiate warmth and gentleness. The eyes, instead of shooting daggers, begin to carry compassion. The mouth, instead of spitting harsh words, offers comfort. And people notice this shift immediately. They feel safer, calmer, more open in your presence. I'm not saying letting go of anger is easy. It's one of the hardest things we humans deal with. Anger feels powerful, almost addictive. It convinces us that if we hold onto it, we'll somehow get justice or control. But in reality, anger is like holding a burning coal, hoping to throw it at someone else, yet the first person burned is always us. Here's a simple experiment. Recall a moment of deep anger. Notice how your body reacted, the tension in your shoulders, the heat in your face, the pounding in your chest. Now recall a moment of forgiveness, when you truly let something go. Do you feel the difference? One contracts your whole being, while the other expands it. One poisons the face, the other illuminates it. I remember a time when I carried anger toward a close friend. Every time I saw them, even if they hadn't done anything new, my face would tighten automatically. I thought I was hiding it well, but people around me noticed and even asked if something was wrong. Only when I chose to forgive, to drop the grudge, did I feel a weight lift. My expression softened so much that the same friends said, "You look lighter, happier." And they were right. It wasn't makeup or rest. It was forgiveness. So here's a question worth asking. What do you want your face to reflect, anger or compassion? Because sooner or later, what we carry inside becomes visible outside. The choice is ours. Science backs this up too. Chronic anger is linked to faster aging, higher blood pressure, and even weaker immune function. In contrast, people who cultivate forgiveness show healthier bodies, lower stress, and yes, a more relaxed, pleasant appearance. It's amazing how much our emotions sculpt not just our inner world, but our very faces. Imagine walking into a room. Do you want people to feel your anger like a storm cloud, or your peace like a gentle breeze? When we let go of anger, our face doesn't just change, it becomes an invitation for others to rest, to trust, to feel safe. And that's far more powerful than any display of rage could ever be. So the next time anger rises, ask yourself, is this the face I want to wear? Because with every choice to forgive, we gift ourselves something priceless, a face that radiates kindness, and a presence that heals. Speaking truthfully. Have you ever noticed how some people don't even need fancy clothes or expensive makeup to appear radiant? There's something in the way they speak, gentle, honest, and free of hidden agendas, that makes their whole face seem brighter. Words, though invisible, carry an energy that shapes not only the way others see us, but also the way we carry ourselves in the world. Think about it, when someone lies, their eyes often shift, their tone grows uneasy, and their face hardens as if hiding a secret. But when a person speaks from a place of sincerity, their gaze is steady, their voice is warm, and their whole being seems lighter. Truth has a way of softening the lines on the face, of brightening the eyes, of giving a kind of glow that no cosmetic can replicate. In Buddhist teachings, right speech is not just about avoiding lies, it's about cultivating words that heal instead of harm. That means choosing words that are kind, words that inspire trust, words that uplift rather than drag down. Imagine the difference between being around someone who constantly criticizes and someone who speaks with gentleness. One leaves you feeling drained, the other leaves you feeling safe and seen. Let me ask you, how often do you pause before speaking and ask yourself, is what I'm about to say true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? These three simple questions can transform not only the way others perceive you, but also how you perceive yourself. Because every time you choose truth over deceit, compassion over harshness, you're polishing your own inner mirror, letting your natural radiance shine through. I remember a friend who once told me, the most beautiful people I've met weren't those who dressed the best, but those whose words made me feel at home in myself. Isn't that true? A sincere compliment, a gentle reassurance, or even a silent nod of understanding has the power to change someone's entire day. And here's the beautiful part, when we lift others up with our words, we lift ourselves too. Our own hearts feel lighter, and it shows on our faces like sunlight breaking through clouds. Speaking truthfully doesn't mean being blunt or careless. Honesty without kindness can become cruelty. The art lies in expressing truth with compassion, in a way that doesn't wound but heals. When practiced over time, this balance shapes a presence that is magnetic. People want to be near you, not because you flatter them, but because your words are trustworthy, nourishing, and real. So if you wish for a brighter aura, for a presence that naturally draws people in, start with your words. Make them gentle, sincere, and free of harm. Think of each word as a seed. You can plant weeds of suspicion, or you can plant flowers of trust. And remember, the more flowers you plant, the more your own face becomes a garden where others feel welcome. Because in the end, beauty doesn't come from what you put on your face. It comes from the truth that flows through your lips, from the kindness that lights up your eyes, and from the sincerity that makes your very being shine. Nurturing compassion. If anger darkens the face, then compassion is what makes it shine. Compassion is the light that softens every expression, the quiet force that makes a person truly beautiful. Think about it, when you meet someone whose eyes radiate warmth and whose smile feels genuine, you instantly feel at ease, don't you? That's the magic of compassion at work. Compassion isn't about grand gestures or heroic sacrifices. Most of the time, it's found in small, simple acts, listening without interrupting, offering a hand when someone stumbles, or just being present when another person feels unseen. These little moments of kindness reshape not only the heart, but also the face. The eyes carry a spark of gentleness, the smile holds a softness, and even the silence becomes comforting. I remember meeting a woman at a meditation retreat years ago. She wasn't glamorous by conventional standards, no expensive clothes, no polished makeup. But when she looked at you, you felt as if she truly saw you. Her eyes were filled with understanding, her smile was patient and kind. People naturally gravitated toward her. Not because of outward beauty, but because of the compassion that glowed through her presence. That kind of beauty is unforgettable. Here's the question worth asking. what if compassion is the real cosmetic we've been searching for? No cream or filter can match the radiance of a heart that genuinely cares. A compassionate face doesn't just look kind, it feels kind. People remember how you made them feel far more than how you looked. And when you carry compassion, you leave behind an imprint of warmth in every interaction. Science even supports this timeless truth. Studies in neuroscience show that practicing compassion not only improves emotional well-being, but also changes the brain, increasing empathy and reducing stress. And it shows physically too. People who engage in compassionate acts often have lower stress hormones, which means fewer lines of tension on their faces. In other words, kindness literally keeps you glowing. But beyond the science, compassion transforms relationships. When you meet someone who treats you with kindness, you want to return it. Their gentle presence becomes contagious, like ripples spreading across water. Imagine if more of us cultivated that. How different would our families, workplaces, even our communities look? Personally, I've noticed that on days when I choose compassion over judgment, people respond differently. Strangers smile back more often, conversations flow more easily, and I feel lighter. On days when I'm impatient or critical, the opposite happens, tension grows, and faces around me harden. Compassion doesn't just change my face, it changes the energy in the entire space. So perhaps the real beauty tip we need is this: instead of asking, "How do I look today?" maybe we should ask, "How much compassion am I carrying today?" Because the truth is, compassion never goes out of style. Wrinkles can't erase it. Time only deepens it. And every act of kindness adds another layer of radiance to the face and soul. Compassion is not weakness, it's strength in its gentlest form. It allows us to meet the world not with fear or anger, but with open hands and open hearts. And when we nurture it, we don't just become more beautiful, we become more human. So, if you want a beauty that never fades, start here, nurture compassion. Let it live in your eyes, your smile, your words. Because when compassion shines through you, everyone around you feels a little safer, a little lighter, and a little more at peace. Knowing contentment and letting go. Have you ever noticed how the faces of people who are always chasing the next thing often look tense, as if they are carrying a weight no one else can see? The lines on their forehead deepen, their eyes seem restless, and even their smile feels hurried. In contrast, those who live with a sense of enough, who find peace with what they already have, radiate a different kind of beauty. Their faces are calm, their presence is grounding, and you can almost feel a quiet joy simply by being around them. This is the power of contentment. To know enough is to soften the grip of constant craving. It doesn't mean we give up on ambition or growth. It simply means we are no longer enslaved by the endless, "I want more." Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll be happy when I get that promotion, that car, that house, that recognition"? And yet, the moment you achieve it, the satisfaction is short-lived, and a new desire takes its place. It's like drinking salt water. The more you consume, the thirstier you become. But what happens when we pause, breathe, and say, "This is enough for me right now"? Something magical shifts. Our minds loosen, our bodies relax, and our faces naturally reflect serenity. There is no cosmetic or spa treatment that can replicate the glow of a heart at peace with what it has. I remember visiting a small village once, where people lived with very little. Their homes were simple, their meals modest. Yet when they smiled, there was a radiance that was hard to describe. Their eyes sparkled, their laughter was full, and their presence made you feel at home. Why? Because they weren't burdened by endless comparison. They weren't measuring their worth against someone else's achievements. They had discovered the quiet beauty of enough. Now, letting go is the other side of this wisdom. Contentment isn't just about enjoying what we have, it's also about releasing what we don't need to carry anymore. Old grudges, unrealistic expectations, unnecessary possessions, they all weigh us down. And the heavier our inner baggage, the more it shows on our face. Have you ever met someone who can't let go of the past? Their features harden, their energy feels heavy. But those who release, who forgive, who travel light, there's a softness about them that's unmistakable. Letting go doesn't mean we don't care. It means we care wisely. It means we recognize what truly nourishes us, and we allow the rest to fall away. Imagine your life like a garden. If you never pull the weeds, no matter how many flowers you plant, the weeds will eventually take over. But if you gently clear what doesn't belong, what remains will thrive. The same is true for our hearts and our faces. When we let go, what's left is the natural radiance of peace. So ask yourself, what is enough for me today? What can I release that no longer serves me? The answers may surprise you. Because in the end, a face that shines with calm isn't born from luxury or excess. It is born from simplicity, from gratitude, from the quiet courage to say, I have enough, and I am enough. And that, my friends, is the most timeless beauty there is. Living with mindfulness. Have you ever met someone whose eyes seemed distant, almost clouded, as if they were there but not really present? Maybe you've even felt that way yourself, your body sitting in one place, but your mind scattered in 1,000 directions. When our thoughts are restless, when we are distracted or lost in worry, it shows. Our eyes lose their sparkle, our expression looks fatigued, and even our posture seems weighed down. Now, contrast that with someone who lives with mindfulness. Their presence feels different. Their gaze is clear, their gestures calm, and there's a steadiness in their energy that makes you want to slow down too. This is the quiet beauty of mindfulness. It brings the mind home, and when the mind is at home, the body radiates peace. Mindfulness is not some mystical or complicated practice, it's simply the art of paying attention, fully, to the present moment. Think about when you take a slow sip of tea, really tasting it, feeling the warmth spread through your body. Or when you walk outside and notice the sound of leaves moving in the breeze. These small moments of awareness are like anchors that keep us from drifting into distraction. Science has even confirmed what ancient wisdom has taught for centuries. Mindfulness lowers stress, steadies the nervous system, and sharpens focus. But beyond the research, it does something even more profound. It illuminates us from within. It clears the fog in our minds, and that clarity shines through our eyes and our expressions. I remember once sitting on a train and noticing two passengers. One was glued to their phone, scrolling endlessly, their face blank and tired. The other was simply sitting, looking out the window, watching the world go by. Their eyes were bright, their face peaceful, as though they were savoring life itself. And I thought, that's mindfulness in action. It wasn't about doing something extraordinary, it was simply about being present. And here's the deeper truth, mindfulness is not about controlling life. It's about showing up for it. When we are mindful, even ordinary moments become sacred. Washing dishes isn't just a chore, it's the sensation of warm water on our hands. Driving isn't just a commute, it's an awareness of the road, the sky, the breath moving in and out. And when we live this way, our appearance naturally reflects that inner harmony. The eyes stay clear, the demeanor composed, and others feel at ease in our company. So let me ask you, how often are you truly here? Not in yesterday's regrets, not in tomorrow's worries, but in this very breath, this very step, this very heartbeat. What would your life feel like if you made mindfulness your daily companion? Because the truth is, mindfulness is not just a practice, it's a way of being. It's the light that turns scattered energy into steady presence. It's the quiet power that makes a person glow, not from cosmetics or achievements, but from the simple radiance of being fully alive, here and now. And that light, my friends, is what makes the spirit shine through the face. Mindfulness doesn't just transform how we feel, it transforms how we appear to the world. Cultivating virtue through good deeds. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to carry a quiet glow about them? It's not the kind of beauty that makeup can create or wealth can buy. It's something deeper, an aura of kindness, a gentleness in the eyes, a warmth in the smile. That glow doesn't appear overnight. It's the natural result of a life lived in goodness, of countless acts of compassion and generosity that gradually shape not only the heart, but also the face. When someone consistently chooses to help others, to give without expecting anything in return, their inner world changes. Their heart softens, their spirit expands, and that inner light inevitably shines outward. Have you ever helped a stranger, maybe something as simple as holding a door, giving directions, or offering a kind word, and felt lighter afterward? That's not just coincidence. That's the mind and body responding to the natural joy of goodness. Over time, those moments of kindness accumulate. They become part of who you are, and they leave their imprint on your presence. In many spiritual traditions, including Buddhism, there is a saying, merit follows us like a shadow. The good deeds we do not vanish, they shape our path, our relationships, and even the way others perceive us. A face softened by compassion has a serenity that no hardship can erase. A smile born of generosity carries a sincerity that no mask can imitate. I remember once meeting an elderly woman who had lived a simple life of service. She was not wealthy, her clothes were modest, and her body carried the marks of time. But when she spoke, her voice was gentle and steady, and when she smiled, it felt like sunlight breaking through the clouds. There was no mistaking it. This was the beauty of a lifetime of good deeds, the radiance of virtue. And the opposite is true as well. A life filled with bitterness, selfishness, or cruelty tends to etch itself into the face. You can see it in the tightness of expression, in the hardness of the eyes, in the heaviness of the energy someone brings into a room. Our choices don't just shape our future, they shape our very appearance. So let me ask you, what kind of imprint do you want to leave on the world? What kind of face do you want life to carve for you, not just in photographs, but in the memory of those who meet you? Doing good doesn't have to mean grand gestures. It can be as simple as listening deeply to someone who feels unheard, offering a meal to someone in need, or speaking with kindness instead of judgment. Each act, no matter how small, is like a seed. Plant enough seeds, and in time, a garden blooms, not only in the world but within yourself. And that garden reveals itself in the way you walk, the way you smile, the way others feel in your presence. True beauty, the kind that time cannot diminish, is the beauty of a good heart. And when goodness becomes our habit, the face naturally reflects it, serene, compassionate, radiant. So perhaps the most profound way to become beautiful is not by chasing the mirror, but by cultivating merit, by living in such a way that your very presence becomes a blessing to others. Because at the end of the day, a kind heart will always shine brighter than perfect skin. Keeping the heart pure. There is a kind of beauty that no cosmetics can create and no fashion can imitate. It is the beauty of a pure heart, a heart untainted by greed, anger, or delusion. When someone lives with clarity inside, when they refuse to let bitterness or jealousy take root, their whole presence becomes luminous. Their face seems to carry a light that no makeup artist could ever paint. Think about it for a moment. How do you feel when you're around someone who is sincere, free of hidden agendas, and transparent in their kindness? You feel safe. You feel at ease. That is the natural radiance of purity. It's not flashy, but it's deeply magnetic. People may not be able to describe it, but they sense it. They sense that they are in the presence of someone who is clean in spirit. On the other hand, when the heart is clouded with selfish desires, resentment, or deceit, it shows. No matter how carefully someone dresses, or how much they polish their appearance, there is always something heavy in their expression, something restless in their energy. We cannot truly hide what lives inside us. The heart is the root, and the face is simply the reflection. I remember meeting a monk once, whose face I'll never forget. He was not young, his skin carried wrinkles, and his robe was simple. Yet when he looked at me, His eyes were so clear, like a calm lake untouched by storms. There was no trace of judgment, no restlessness, no pretense, just presence. In that moment, I understood. This is what it means to have a pure heart. The brightness of his appearance did not come from youth or cosmetics. It came from decades of inner cultivation, of choosing compassion over anger, humility over pride, stillness over chaos. This is why in many traditions, purity is seen as the highest beauty. It's not about rejecting the world, but about living in it without letting it stain you. Life will always present us with temptations, conflicts, and noise. But when the heart remains clear, when we don't allow greed, hatred, and ignorance to dominate us, we become like a lotus flower, blooming in muddy water yet never tainted by it. So I ask you, what are the impurities you most often wrestle with? Is it the constant hunger for more success, more possessions, more approval? Is it anger that flares quickly and leaves you drained? Or is it the fog of confusion, when you forget what truly matters? These poisons live in all of us, but we are not powerless against them. Every moment of mindfulness, every act of letting go, every step back into simplicity, these are the ways we wash the heart clean. And when the heart is pure, the reward is not only inner peace, but also outer radiance. Your eyes become brighter, your face softer, your smile more genuine. People feel comfort just by being near you, and you don't need to prove or perform anything. The highest form of beauty is this: a purity that shines from within, untouched by time or circumstance. It is not given by the world, and so the world cannot take it away. Peaceful mind, peaceful life. My friends, let me share with you a truth so simple, yet so easily overlooked. When the mind is at peace, life itself becomes peaceful. It sounds poetic, almost too simple to be true. But pause for a moment and think. Have you ever met someone whose presence alone made you feel calm, even without them saying a single word? That is the power of an inner peace that radiates outward. A peaceful mind doesn't just soften the lines of the face, or bring a natural glow to the eyes. It creates harmony in everything around it. The energy of a calm heart can change the atmosphere of a room. People naturally gravitate toward those who embody tranquility, because deep down, all of us are yearning for that same serenity. It's like standing near a fireplace on a cold night. You don't need to own the fire to feel its warmth, you just need to be close to it. But here's something important. Peace is not about escaping life, or pretending that problems don't exist. It's not a denial of reality. True peace is the ability to stay centered even when storms are raging outside. Imagine a lake in the mountains. When the winds blow, the surface may ripple, but the depths remain still. A peaceful mind is like that deep water, untouched by every gust of chaos. Think about your own life. How often do you find yourself carried away by anger, stress, or endless worries? How many times have you replayed the same story in your head, only to feel more unsettled the more you think about it? We often imagine that peace will come once everything outside of us is finally in order, when the bills are paid, the work is done, the world is calm. But the truth is the opposite. It is inner peace that allows the outer world to feel manageable, not the other way around. When your mind is at rest, life's difficulties don't disappear, but they stop defining you. Instead of reacting with anger, you respond with clarity. Instead of drowning in fear, you learn to breathe and take the next step with courage. And here's the miracle: when you embody this kind of peace, you don't just change your own life, you quietly transform the lives of those around you. Your family feels it. Your friends notice it. Even strangers may sense it in your presence. I've witnessed people who once lived in constant anxiety, who thought peace was an impossible dream. But through mindful practice, whether it's meditation, prayer, or simply pausing to breathe, they began to cultivate that inner stillness. Over time, not only did their health improve, but their relationships blossomed, their homes became more joyful, and their work felt lighter. Peace became their natural state, and everything else followed. So let me ask you, What would your life look like if you nurtured peace in your heart, starting today? What if, instead of waiting for life to calm down, you became the calm? Wouldn't that change not just how you live, but also how others experience life around you? A peaceful mind is not just a gift for yourself, it's a gift to the world. And perhaps that's the most beautiful truth of all: when your heart rests in peace, you become a source of healing, a gentle refuge, and a quiet light for everyone you meet. Conclusion. My friends, let us pause and remember something simple yet profound: every one of us will grow old. Our bodies will change, our faces will wrinkle, and time will leave its marks. No amount of makeup, expensive creams, or jewelry can stop that reality. But there is one thing that does not fade with time. In fact, it grows brighter the more we cultivate it. That is the radiance of a peaceful and compassionate heart. When your soul rests in tranquility, when your mind is no longer clouded by greed, anger, or endless comparisons, a light naturally shines through you. This is not a glow that can be painted on your skin. It is not a beauty you can purchase in a store. It is the kind of brightness that arises from within, the soft light of wisdom and compassion. And here's the beautiful part: the older it gets, the more luminous it becomes. Think of people you've met in your life, maybe an elderly teacher, a kind neighbor, or even a stranger whose presence felt unexpectedly comforting. Their faces may not fit society's narrow standards of perfect beauty, but something about them draws you in. You feel safe, seen, and at ease in their company. That is the true radiance we are talking about. It is born from a heart that has learned to rest in peace. So if you want to brighten your face, don't start with your mirror, start with your mind. Ask yourself, what seeds am I planting in my heart today? Seeds of resentment, or seeds of kindness? Seeds of worry, or seeds of trust? Just as a garden reflects the care of its gardener, your life reflects the state of your mind. If you water the seeds of peace, compassion, and understanding, then over time, you will carry an aura that no one can deny. This is the real secret to beauty, not perfection of features, but the serenity of the soul. A person with a calm heart becomes like a flower, effortlessly fragrant, effortlessly radiant. They don't need to advertise their charm. Others are drawn to them because of the energy they emanate. And this is why, in many spiritual traditions, a peaceful mind is seen as the highest ornament one can wear. Let me put it another way. Imagine being a lamp in the darkness. You don't chase people and say, "Look how bright I am." You simply shine, and naturally, others gather around your light. When your heart is steady and luminous, you become that lamp, for yourself, for your family, and for the world around you. So, my dear friends, if you truly wish for a radiant appearance, begin by cultivating a radiant heart. Sit with your breath. Let go of the clutter of resentment and comparison. Practice compassion, even in small ways. With time, you'll notice something remarkable. Your eyes soften, your smile becomes warmer, and your very presence becomes medicine for others. A peaceful mind is the seed. A radiant life is the flower. If you nurture one, the other will follow. And in doing so, you won't just shine for yourself, you'll shine for the whole world. Cherry blossom,